Okay, hey guys, we're going to look at lab 26. 26 takes capacitors and stacks them in series. So we're looking at series capacitance behavior in this lab. To do this, you're going to need your Tinkercad. Open up a circuit palette and pull out the digital voltmeter, the DC power supply, function generator, and a 0.1 microfarad capacitor, as well as a 0.5 microfarad capacitor. In addition to these items listed here, I also want you to pull out an oscilloscope. So here's your basic setup right here. Now don't forget to set your values of your capacitor. This is C1. It's set at a 0.1 microfarad. And this is capacitor number 2, set at a 0.5 microfarad. Currently they are hooked up to the DC power supply. So if you're following your procedural directions, we'll set our DC power supply for 2 volts. And we're going to hook voltmeters to both of our capacitors here. So when you look at the DC power supply settings, here's my max voltage is set at 2 volts. Okay, and don't worry about your current max. You can leave that at the default 5. After wiring up your circuit, make sure you pay attention to the positive and the negative sides of the circuit. Looking at the schematic on the lab worksheet, you see that the positive side is connected to C1. So as we're looking through this, set your positive side to C1 and your negative side to C2. Actually, just looking at that now, I notice I have a difference. I need to change that. This is 0.5 and C2 is our 0.1. Okay, so again, my negative side, C2, is 0.5 microfarads. My positive side, C1, is 0.1 microfarads. Here's our circuit. We're ready to run it and give it a test. Okay, before I simulate this circuit, I want to pay attention to step 3 here. Look at what you're looking for. We're looking to compare the voltage drops of the 2 capacitors. Now know this, when we have our digital multimeters hooked up to each capacitor, the multimeters are actually going to drain the capacitor itself. So we're going to see a change in the voltage. So pay attention. You might have to run the test a couple times. You're looking for the maximum values, or I should say the initial values that appear on those voltmeters. So let's look here first at our positive C1, and let's pay attention to what that initial value is. So here we go. We start our simulation. Pay attention to what you see up here. 1.66, and then notice you're going to see a drop as it changes. So we saw the high voltage on this, 1.66, after it reached its full charge. Let's go ahead and stop the simulation. We're going to do it again. Let's pay attention to what we see going on over here at C2. Start the simulation. Notice where we are, about 330, 333, and now it's continuing to ramp up. While this one ramps up, this one is going down. Okay, that's 330 millivolts, which is 0.33 volts. Okay, can you explain? Do you know why the difference and why we're seeing the change? That's something you need to ask yourself. Can you explain what's going on here with these series connected capacitors? Okay, before we move on, I made a couple changes here. I disconnected one of the wires from each of these multimeters to essentially remove them from the circuit. And I've wired up my oscilloscope here. This is not in the lab itself, but this does give us a clear indication what's going on. The reason I've wired this up is I want to show, looking at both capacitors here as they're wired in series, you should be able to see the total 2 volts displayed here. So when I start the simulation and we zoom in, we see they charge as they charge up. And then when we zoom in here, you look, we've got 10 volts over these 10 squares. So 10 volts divided by 10 tells us that each square is equal to 1. And here that's 1 square above 0, 2 squares above 0, 2 volts. And that is what we've applied to our circuit. So we do see the total voltage drop there. What would happen, and we'll stop our simulation, if we look at each capacitor individually with our oscilloscope? Same way we looked at them individually with our multimeters. This time we're just going to look at it with the oscilloscope. So right now we're going to look at C2. This is the 0.5 microfarad capacitor. 0.5 microfarad capacitor. I start the simulation there. I want you to pay attention. Remember, this is auto ranging here. So pay attention to what we see here. As we auto range, it says we've got 1 volt over the 10 square. So because we have 10 squares, 1 divided by 10 tells us each square is equal to 0.1 volt. Now, when I look here, you notice the line is gradually creeping down. And that is something we saw with our digital multimeters. The creep will continue to drop down here. I'm going to stop the simulation, pay attention again. We'll start it. And we'll count these initial squares. You see right where that is. 1, 2, 3, and a little bit more right above there. If this is a 0.1, 0.2, 0.3, 0.33 was about what we saw on the digital multimeter. Okay, let's stop the simulation. And we're going to zoom back out. We're going to change our oscilloscope leads. And we're going to look at C1 here now. Remember, C1 is our smaller capacitor. Our C1 is our smaller capacitor at 0.1 microfarads. Okay, but if you remember back, the multimeter had a larger voltage on that. So let's start our simulation, take a look at that. So here we zoom in, and we're seeing that 4 volts over the 10. So each one of these is worth 0.4. And here we are about 4 squares up. 0.4, 0.8, 1.2, and 1.6 approximately. We'll stop the simulation again. You see again, we see the creep, and that is because the capacitor is discharging, slowly discharging through the oscilloscope itself. So we'll start this over again. Start the simulation, pay attention to where it is. It's all the way up here. Okay, and we see a little bit above that line. So again, 1, 2, 3, 4 squares times 0.4, because we have 4 volts divided by 10, that's 0.4. So 4 squares times 0.4 is a 1.6 volt. And you can see we're probably about a little over 1.6 there as we're looking at it, 1.66 or something like that. Well, that makes sense. We looked at the whole thing. We saw 2 volts in totality. When we looked across the both of them, we saw a 0.33 volt here. And if we're at 1.6, say 1.67 or so, you're going to add those two together. You see the total voltage drop across the 2 capacitors, equaling our 2 volts total. So quick review then, we saw that the larger capacitor, the 0.5, had a smaller voltage drop on it than our smaller capacitor, 0.1, had with a larger voltage drop on it. So the question is, why does a smaller capacitor develop a higher voltage drop? Thinking that through, look down here in your review section. The answer is right here in this equation. It's an inverse relationship. Q is the charge being placed on that capacitor, and its relationship to the capacitance itself. So the larger C is capacitance, the smaller the voltage drop is going to be. An inverse relationship that's set up here. So that's a DC circuit. Let's take a pause here, and then we'll look on for the AC relationship. Okay, as we move into the second half and we begin to look at the AC setup, a couple things to pay attention to. In this situation, we're going to modify slightly. They ask us to use AC multimeters. Set your digital multimeter or voltmeter to measure AC volts. We cannot do that with what Tinkercad has available. These digital multimeters are only capable of DC voltage, so we can't use them for the AC purpose. You can remove them from the circuit or just make sure they're disconnected as I've done here. The second thing is the setup of our function generator. The function generator is our source, no longer the DC power supply. So let's first move some wires. we're going to take my black wire here and run it up to the function generator. And we'll take the red wire here and run it up. So we've removed the DC source and we now have an AC source. And the setup there is we want a sine wave with 1K hertz and 2 volts RMS. Let's look at what we're set at here. Here's our sine wave, and here's our frequency at 1000 hertz. Well, 1000 hertz is 1K hertz. Okay. The amplitude is set at 2.83, not 2 volts. And the reason for that is this is 2 volts RMS, 2 volts root mean square. If you remember back to our calculation sections on AC voltage, RMS, root mean square, is the effective DC equivalent voltage for an AC signal. So in order to calculate the amplitude or peak voltage here, we have to throw this into our calculator. Okay, in our calculator we take the 2 volts RMS, we're going to multiply that by 1.414. 1.414 is twice the 70%. And when you multiply that out, you get 2.828. And if you remember, this is our peak voltage, and that is our amplitude that we're seeing over here. Actually, it's our peak-to-peak voltage that we see right here. So if you take 70% of this times 0.707, you get your 1.99, almost that 2 volts RMS that we're looking at. So set your amplitude to 2.83 or 2.828. I'm going to right now leave the DC offset at 0. We'll see what we need to do here in a minute with that. We'll leave it at 0, and we're ready to set this for. Okay, we start the simulation. Okay, I did one thing here before we can get in the simulation. I moved this wire. I recognize that we have to look at the entire voltage first across the 2 capacitors. What we should see is the setting we set our function generator for. So we hit simulation, start simulation. If we have a 2.83 amplitude in our setting, we should be seeing something close to that on our oscilloscope. Looking at the oscilloscope, and I have 4 volts in the vertical. Remember, there's 10 squares vertical, so divide the 4 by 10. Each one of those squares or divisions is equal to 0.4 volts. But it's really hard to say where exactly this is. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 squares that are whole. That's 2.4 volts. Plus we have, looks like about a half square in either direction. We can't get a real precise reading. So remember, we went back and we left our offset at 0. If you change the offset on here to be 1.414, which is half of our value, we now put the baseline on the 0. Okay, we'll get out of my screen there. Put it on 0. Let's check your scale of my oscilloscope. I'm now 10 volts to the square, which means each square is equal to 1 volt. So here's 1 volt, 2 volts, almost 3 volts, but not quite. We could easily see that this is peak to peak, 2.8 volts. So just a way of using offset where you can zero out the base there. If you take half of your peak to peak value, you take your peak value and put that in as your offset, that will put your baseline on 0. Okay, now that you've seen that we have the whole voltage across the 2 capacitors, we should be able to see a voltage division by moving our wire probes and looking at them individually. So if I start the simulation there, this is capacitor 1. Capacitor 1, C1, is my smaller capacitor. It should have the bigger voltage. And here you go, 1 volt, 2 volts, about 2.4. Okay, we can stop that, and you should be able to see the same thing when you look at the bigger capacitor, or C2. So move your wires and do the same thing there. Again, you should be able to verify all the voltages there, and that you have a true voltage divider. And sure enough, for 2 volts of the division, that means this is 0.2, this is 0.4, This is maybe about 0.4.